poem Aunt Jennifer's Tigers is from Rich's first collection of poems, A Change of World. Written at a time when there were not many career options for women, the poem portrays the silent suffering of women trapped in difficult relationships through the figure of Aunt Jennifer, who lives in terror of her husband. It is a stark depiction of the fear and oppression that patriarchy imposes upon women, where they are forced to submit to masculine authority. The poem also speaks about art as a means of escape from oppression. Art outlasts its creators, preserving their beliefs and memories for the future. Here is a summary of the poem, Aunt Jennifer's Tigers by Adrienne Rich. The poem begins with a vivid description of the tigers that Aunt Jennifer has embroidered on a screen. The tigers are bright and golden yellow against a background of green. They appear alive, almost as though they can move of their own will. As denizens or inhabitants of the green world of forests, they seem to be completely at ease in their surroundings. They are conscious of their power and do not fear anyone, not even men shown under the tree. Like the knights of the Middle Ages, the tigers are chivalric. That is, they are confident and courageous. Thus, Aunt Jennifer's tigers are beautiful animals, assured and confident in their movement, as expressed in the words prance and sleek. In stark contrast to the fearless tigers she has made, Aunt Jennifer's timid and trembling fingers do not seem to have enough strength or confidence to even handle wool. They have trouble pulling the ivory needle she's using, ironically, to create her fearless and spirited tigers. Aunt Jennifer's hand is weighed down by her wedding ring. She's stuck in an unhappy and oppressive marriage, which has restricted her and made it difficult for her to express herself. The poet comments that the relationship is so oppressive that even in death, Aunt Jennifer will not be free from fear. Even in death, Aunt Jennifer will be wearing the ring that marks her lifelong fear of a dominant and cruel husband. The painful experiences of her marriage will continue to encircle her and drag her down. In stark contrast, the tigers that she created will look as strong and spirited as ever. Aunt Jennifer will not survive, but her art will last for eternity. The central character of the poem is Aunt Jennifer. Aunt Jennifer is a talented and creative person. She uses her creativity to escape her oppressive married life. The screen that she has made is clear evidence of this. The tigers in it are vibrant and seem almost alive. Aunt Jennifer is an oppressed person who is terrified of her husband. This is indicated by the lines which mention the weight of her wedding ring. The ring is so heavy that she can't sew properly. Similarly, the words ordeals she was mastered by also indicate the ill treatment that Aunt Jennifer has faced all her life. Aunt Jennifer is a meek and subdued person who does not stand up to her domineering spouse, but expresses her suppressed feelings through her art. Aunt Jennifer's personality is in stark contrast to that of the tigers. Her tigers are presented as fearless and noble like knights from the Middle Ages. The tigers do not fear any man, whereas Aunt Jennifer is afraid of her husband. Also, unlike Aunt Jennifer, the tigers seem comfortable in their surroundings, like they belong there. They are free from any restrictions. Thus, the tigers are invested with qualities that Aunt Jennifer wishes she had but can never have. Uncle, Aunt Jennifer's husband, is only mentioned once, and that too indirectly in the line, the massive weight of Uncle's wedding band. The line indicates that Uncle has a strong, dominating personality as compared to his wife's submissive personality. The poem implies that Uncle is so oppressive that she cannot escape from him even in death. The poet skillfully uses the word mastered to subtly illustrate the equation between the couple. It is like that between a master and his servant. Now let us examine the poem closely. The poem is a commentary on the effects of patriarchy on women. Specifically, it deals with the oppression and subsequent loss of identity that many women experience within marriage. Aunt Jennifer is oppressed by her husband. Rich symbolically mentions Aunt Jennifer's trembling and terrified hands to express the terror that she experiences every day of her life. Aunt Jennifer is described as being mastered by these terrifying experiences. Furthermore, the use of the words uncle's wedding band seems to imply that aunt cannot even call her wedding ring her own. This signifies complete loss of identity. Ironically, the poem is titled Aunt Jennifer's Tigers, indicating that her work of art is hers alone, that will endure after she has passed away. Another theme of the poem is that artistic expression is not limited by the harsh realities of life. Aunt Jennifer's fear does not get translated to the tigers that she creates. They are bold and fearless, unlike her. For Aunt Jennifer, her creativity is a means of escaping the terror in her life and experiencing a life she has never had. Also, even after Aunt Jennifer passes away, her art will continue to exist. The tigers will prance around on the screen, immortalizing her deepest desires and thoughts. The poem has a very clear structure with 3 stanzas, each containing 4 lines. Each stanza is made up of 2 rhyming couplets, and each couplet expresses a self-contained thought or idea. The poem is a stunning example of rich visual imagery that conveys the appropriate mood. The poem begins with a striking image of the topaz tigers against a green background. The word prance clearly gives an impression of the tiger's liveliness and fearlessness. The color imagery continues in the next stanza, where the poet mentions Aunt Jennifer's ivory needles. These lines also strongly evoke Aunt Jennifer's powerlessness and unspoken agony. The final stanza presents contrasting images of Aunt Jennifer's trapped existence and the fearless world of her art. The poem is also rich in symbolism. For instance, the tigers that pace and prance on the screen symbolize fearlessness, elegance, and self-reliance. Thus, they symbolize Aunt Jennifer's deepest desires. Another symbol is the wedding band that sits heavily on Aunt Jennifer's finger. It denotes Aunt Jennifer's unhappy marriage at a micro level and patriarchy at a macro level. It highlights the burdens that marriage and a male-dominated society place on women. The poet uses alliteration in many places, adding to the rhythm of the poem. For example, the phrases fingers fluttering and prancing proud are alliterative. The phrase sleek chivalric certainty is also rhythmic, even though the initial sound of chivalric is not exactly the same as sleek and certainty. The poet has used a metaphor in the words ringed with ordeals. They suggest that Aunt Jennifer is metaphorically encircled by her problems. The poet also uses synecdoche, where a part represents the whole, in the phrase her terrified hands. Aunt Jennifer's hands are not terrified, but she herself is terrified.